You ever want to get amped for a crypto video? Marky Mark, the Funky Bunch, will never be topped again. Apparently he beat up an Asian guy. I don't know too much about that. But remember, this is going on, people, okay? QT's ending. The market's even more ablaze again today because the Japanese carry trade is unwinding, so people are saying that's the excuse, but then you look at other assets and it's just weird. It's not super consistent or what you would think, so it sniffs a little bit of obviously manipulation. And of course they're gonna, the whales, the market makers, whatever the hell you want to call them, they're gonna be squeezing us the whole way down. It makes total sense that this is this low and ETF Palooza is among us. I'm not even saying just XRP. I'm talking Link is getting one today. Grayscale's converting, dude. So as of right now, I think it still stands. Binance Blockchain Week, December 3rd and 4th in Dubai. Okay. Remember this: Michael Saylor, Brad Garlinghouse, Raoul Paul, and CZ. This is going to be the greatest lineup of all time if they actually come through. This is because, dude, he's got him and his team. The company has to be shitting bricks right now. Like, obviously, you go out there, you have to put on a poker face, but the fact that they're now having the USD reserve for a year out, to not, as a buffer, to not have to start selling Bitcoin. If they're gonna get again, if they're going for the vampire through him, so we're getting close, man. We're getting close. Now the Japanese carry trade. Now kind of all markets are getting spooked again. It can get bad real quick. Like, we're not gonna feel the effects from QT. Plus, also now the Fed rate cut has been sitting at odds on Polymarket and everything around 90-ish%. So everyone knew that was coming. So the market probably already priced that in. As of right now, things are not looking great, but we know it's coming. It's not even delusion. It's just we're tapped in every day. We see what they're doing, the moves they are making. And speaking of Dubai, this is Brad back in November 20. Moving forward is the only path worth considering. Excited to join this outstanding group at Binance Blockchain Week in Dubai. It's Brad and Lily Liu, president of the Solana Foundation, bro. We're all out here fighting like a bunch of morons, dude. Brad and the Solana Foundation are brushing shoulders. They know this is all bullshit. You shit my shoulder pop. But then we had this the other day too, to connect it to the Middle East, the UAE, Dubai, all the moves they're making over there. Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin backed by the dollar has gained approval as the accepted fiat reference token in the Abu Dhabi global market. We covered that the other day. And then just this for even like another reference. Ripple announces it has received approval from the Dubai Financial Services Authority to offer regulated cryptocurrency payment services in the UAE. This was back in March of this year, and we've seen stuff before of them messing around in the Middle East. They got a license. They're just out there brushing the shoulders. Doesn't mean the token will be used. You could be right. Who knows who will end up being right in the end? In my bones, I've been in this long enough that this thing's got potential, bro. I think other ones got potential too. But I don't know if this is the holy shebang, as the kids like to call it. If it's set out to do what it's supposed to do, it's a lot of money. Never financial advice, ever.
We also got coins like XRP that are working to change the banking system. XRP is a coin that, what they're trying to do is make it to where they can do international cross-border payments much faster. So Bitcoin and XRP are both what we know as networks of value. So SWIFT system that runs the banking system right now, the international transfers, cross-border payments, it's a network of information. So when something is happening on the SWIFT system, somebody's got to come in on the back end and do all the work.
Yeah. Well, so if you're dealing with time differences and everything 100%. Else, like you would in an international transaction, that creates the headache. Well, or the time lag, really.
Well, it's 5 to 7 days is how long it takes for these things to actually settle. With XRP, it settles in 30 seconds because it's a network of value.
The only thing I kind of remember of BitBoy is that he kind of went off the rails and he went to the Bermuda Triangle, wherever the hell FTX was located, Bahamas offshore somewhere, some shit, and he was filming. He's like, hey guys, I'm here. I just landed. I'm looking for Sam. And I was like, what the hell? Is this for real? I don't know why they chose this picture of Larry Fink. It's not too flattering. He's deep provoked in thought because they said, just in, BlackRock says Bitcoin ETFs are its top source of revenue. Okay, then you got to ask, why is it down? Google CEO is talking about data centers in space in every interview he's doing. Yeah, this caught my attention. What's going on here?
I mean, over time, at Google, we are always proud of taking moonshots. You mentioned Waymo earlier. That's been over a decade in the making. We're working on quantum computing. In that spirit, one of our moonshots is to how do we one day have data centers in space so that we can better harness the energy from the sun?
You got to work with
100
Elon.
trillion times more energy than what we produce in all of Earth today. So we want to put these data centers in space, closer to the sun, and I think we are taking our first step in 27. We'll send tiny racks of machines and have them in satellites, test them out, and then start scaling from there. But there's no doubt to me that a decade or so away, we'll be viewing it as a more normal way to build data centers.
Well, and so much of this, as you say, normal. It's a normal way of life for.
I mean, over time.
Can we get someone on the same caliber as this guy to ask some like legitimate questions? That is one of the most fascinating things I've ever heard a fucking CEO say. Yeah, we're gonna start building our data centers in space to harness the energy of the sun. We knew it was kind of inevitable. I mean, Elon's talked about that and floated that out throughout the years, just going, oh, if we could just harness the power of that sun. He's like, we got a nuclear reactor in the sky. If we take advantage of that, we're golden. This is insane. The time RFK Jr. exposed that the entire mainstream media is controlled by just 6 corporations. That's not even the insane part. The insane part is hearing his voice back then.
What's happened since then is you now have 6 companies, 6 large multinationals.
Dude, it's so sad to say, if his voice was able to be presented in this manner, I think he would have got a lot more traction.
They control every radio station in America and all of the television stations in America and 80% of the newspapers. The television news departments have become corporate profit centers. They no longer have an obligation to benefit the American public. So their only obligation is to their shareholders. How do they satisfy that obligation? By expanding viewership so they can sell more ad space. How do you expand viewership? Why, you do that by appealing to the prurient interest that all of us have in the reptilian core of our brain for sex and celebrity gossip. So they give us Lacey Peterson, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jackson, and lots of terror alerts because that gets viewership as well.
But
they're not telling us the real news that is affecting people in this country. The fact that today, 1 out of every 6 American women now has so much mercury in her womb that her children are at risk for a grim inventory of diseases: autism, blindness, mental retardation, heart, liver, kidney disease.
Yo, he was popping off there, dude. I gotta follow this account, Illuminati bot.
What's happened since then is
Oh, dude, he's definitely got some good videos. Yeah, that's crazy. I'd like to know what year this was. I mean, he's not wrong, dude. You just follow the money, and then you see what they're... It's not even that hard. Just who's funding them? They're gonna do what they say. That's it. That's in anything. Just in Solana Falls under 125. Oh my god, look at that arrow. That's a scary arrow, dude. They got the hue on it too. Oh man. Okay, breaking. Michael Saylor's strategy has established a USD reserve of $1.44 billion for dividend payments. Right now, strategy needs to pay $750 million in annual dividends. This means strategy has enough funds to cover 23 months of dividend payments. MicroStrategy FUD of selling Bitcoin should be over now. They're pushing yet again really hard this narrative of stop going after this guy, like that type of approach. And yeah, it's obviously a coordinated attack, but at the same time, it never seemed sustainable from the get-go. You know? At least to me. We could be proven wrong. Netflix buys the rights to the Michael Saylor grand movie when this is all said and done, and he's the poster boy. He made the big bet on Bitcoin. This is why Bitcoin's the greatest, and you should put all your money in Bitcoin. If they go that route, I don't know. But then Larry Fink, we're going to tokenize the world. What are you going to tokenize the world on? It's not going to be Bitcoin. I think that's kind of the future. He's even telling you that's where the future of this is. And then maybe it doesn't. Maybe there still is a role for Bitcoin and all that. Maybe there is. Time will tell. People say it so definitively. Bro, we don't even have legislation yet. This thing started in 2008 in response to the financial crisis. We haven't been doing it this long. We don't have rules yet. No one's afraid. Everyone's afraid to fucking use the tech or dip their toe in right now because we still don't have the pen to paper. Yet again, when rich people know they can get away with something with immunity, like, oh, we can do this for certain now without facing any bullshit, they're hopping in. But here we go. Jack Dorsey explaining Bitcoin to the CEO of Norway's 1.8 trillion sovereign wealth fund.
Around enter Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a protocol for moving money around. If Bitcoin is used not just as a store of value, but as a currency to move money around between people or between businesses and people or businesses and businesses, as that becomes more and more a thing, which I do think it becomes over the next 5 years,
Really?
then we can launch Cash App and Square in every single country that has the internet. And that allows us to serve more people better, faster. And because Bitcoin is open, it's not controlled by one company, it's not controlled by any one government, it's completely transparent. People can see what it does, and we can solve all the problems that we would task with governments and companies to solve by doing it transparently and by doing it openly. Because again, it's the internet and it goes to internet principles. So I'm hoping these financial systems take on more internet principles and we can truly be an internet company instead of going market by market by market, which is just a really slow way to build for the world. You can't build for the world. You can only build for these particular markets that you happen to be approved in. And again, you have to be approved by another company. You have to be approved by these things that don't have your interest or even their customers' interest at heart.
So what needs to happen for Bitcoin to function more effectively?
I think it's happening right now. Like more and more people see that it's valuable. Every time that number goes up, people get more interested in it. Yeah. I don't believe in Bitcoin in its final stage as just a store of value, but I think it's a necessary part of the path to get to, I think, the next big one, which is remittance across border, moving money between businesses, moving money between people across borders, which is happening in many countries outside the United States and Western countries today because there's no other options.
Yeah.
And then it gets to currency.
And then they're going to use
As
Bitcoin.
People get more comfortable with it, as they see that it's not going away. Bitcoin is over close to 16 years old right now. It's never gone down. It's never had a security issue. It has no leader. It has a completely open roadmap, and it's determined by a consensus development model. These are all really incredible ways to trust it as a currency. So as it becomes more understood and it feels like it's going to last, I think people will trust it more and more as like, this is the way I'm moving money to my family now, and this is the way I'm buying coffee now, and this is the way I'm buying computers or whatever. It's a deflationary currency, so it doesn't encourage spending. It does encourage savings. But I think it has a really interesting path and provides a lot of interesting business models for the internet. If Bitcoin existed before we started Twitter, we'd be in a much different state, and I think we'd be in a much better state, and we wouldn't have all the issues that you see with social media today because it's not a tax on the system. It allows for a business model that's aligned with the people that are using it every single day.
Why would social media be better than Bitcoin?
Because you could get to commerce right away. You could get to subscription right away. You didn't have to get permission from Visa, MasterCard. You didn't have to wait for the security of such payments on the internet by virtue and by the grace of Visa and MasterCard to build it. It's built into the internet and it works at massive scale. So if we had that tool and we had commerce at scale, we could build a pretty phenomenal business that's like all communication is exchange of value. Commerce is exchange of value. If you pair currency with communication, you ease commerce and you ease buying and selling of things. And the internet wants to create efficiencies there. But the biggest friction in that creation of efficiency were the payment networks and the banks and the way we currently deal with money. So Bitcoin upends all that and changes it and provides a completely different path, which is, in my view, far more exciting and allows us to build a much bigger business, more valuable business.
Hey, let's do it. Hey, I'm all for it. You know, whatever the best actual thing for the end consumer is, that's what I'm for. We'll find out if it's Bitcoin. This is his attempt to do it. You know, he's implementing the thing with Square, Bitcoin payments. They could store the Bitcoin or convert it, whatever the merchant wants to do with it. That is interesting. But at the end of the day, it has to come down to the consumer wants to do that. And the only way would be there has to be some like net benefit to get rid of your Bitcoin. Yet again, if it's this perceived thing of it only goes up, why would you want to use that as a currency, you know? Then at the end of the day, it's whatever the end user wants to do for whatever reason they want, right? Yeah, this is a good one. The Federal Reserve has an unlimited capacity for printing money and can raise or lower interest rates to make the economy stronger or weaker whenever they want. The entire system is 100% manipulated.
Is that tax money that the Fed is spending?
It's not tax money. The banks have accounts with the Fed much the same way that you have an account in a commercial bank. So to lend to a bank, we simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account that they have with the Fed. So it's much more akin, although not exactly the same, but it's much more akin to printing money than it is to borrowing.
You've been printing money.
Well, effectively, and we need to do that because our economy is very weak and inflation is very low. When the economy begins to recover, that'll be the time that we need to unwind those programs, raise interest rates, reduce the money supply, and make sure that we have a recovery that does not involve inflation.
He's not kidding about printing money. The Fed issues U.S. currency. That's why it says Federal Reserve Note on all the bills in your wallet.
Insane.
This is the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, just a few blocks from Bernanke's office. The Fed's mandate from Congress is to put enough money in the system for maximum employment, but not so much that it sets off inflation. The Fed actually pays for itself and returns billions in profits to the Treasury.
This whole thing we are in is just insane. Elon Musk is bullish on Google. You can't make this up. Yo, after hearing him talk about wanting to send them into space and utilize the sun, I'm on board.
I mean, I don't really, buy stocks, so it's not like...
Yeah, you don't have to.
I'm not like an investor in... I don't like look for things to invest in. I just try to build things.
Yeah, because...
and then there happens to be stock of the company that I built. But I don't think about, should I invest in this company? Or I don't have like a portfolio or anything.
Invest in me, Elon.
So...
If you ain't doing anything with it.
I guess AI and robotics are going to be very important.
Very. Very.
So I suppose it would be AI and robotics that aren't related to me. I think Google is going to be pretty valuable in the future.
Yeah.
They've laid the groundwork for an immense amount of value creation from an AI standpoint. NVIDIA is obvious at this point.
Everything relies on that.
I mean, there's an argument that companies that do AI and robotics and maybe space flight
would be huge.
Going to be overwhelmingly almost all the value. So the output of goods and services from AI and robotics is so high that it will dwarf everything else.
You can't say that no more, Elon. No, I'm just playing. Oh, man. I can't remember the exact AI model Google showed off. I think Genie, the one where it actually generates a world and it can remember what you do, and you can prompt it real time. It's essentially building a universe, essentially, and it's so crazy because that you see the convergence of it all. That you see it at the end game. That the Neuralink VR, it's all. It's Black Mirror, dude. They show it to condition the populace of what's coming. It's insane. Google CEO Sundar Pichai just told Fox News the one AI nightmare that actually keeps him awake. Oh no, when deepfakes get so good that we literally won't be able to tell what's real anymore. Wait, oh no, let me hear this. This is scary.
Well, you are in the front of a lot of what's happening in technology, including in AI. We know there are enormous benefits, things like, finding medical cures and automating processes to make life better. But we know there's a dark side to a lot of this, too. So knowing what you know, a much better understanding even than I have, or many Americans or folks around the world, what is it that keeps you up at night when you think about the use of artificial intelligence?
Everything.
Well, any technology, has a dual side to it. Obviously, with a powerful technology like AI, there are so many benefits we can think of. One day this is going to help us maybe discover new drugs, develop better treatments for cancer, and so on. But as you rightly say, it could be used by bad actors. It could create like deep fakes in a way we won't be able to tell the difference. So those are the kind of things you sit and think about. And the journey of humanity is always how do you harness technology to benefit society? And I think this technology is no different.
I mean, bro, already for a while now. If you're just scrolling by stuff quick, sometimes whenever you watch something, you go, "Is this real?" Even if it's not necessarily a deep faked or something AI generated. Is it fake? Is it staged? I like just everything. I question everything. Okay, there's this crazy conspiracy going on right now. This will be my first time properly listening to it. Hold up.
Last Thursday, with no press release, JP Morgan Chase moved its entire gold trading desk that handles billions of dollars every day from New York to Singapore. This is not an expansion. This is an escape. 50 plus traders and their families were told to be in Singapore by the end of last week.
From who? Who's
the linked
source?
Email reads, relocate all COMEX eligible gold operators to Asia Pacific by end of week. Gold is now trading at $4,256 an ounce.
Silver's popping too.
$54 just today. JP Morgan has already delivered $4 billion in physical bullion against New York futures contracts this month alone, the biggest physical delivery since 2008. Singapore has no gold import tariffs, is friendly with BRICS nations, and JP Morgan's private bank. There is exploding within ultra-high net worth clients moving money out of the United States. Jamie Dimon visited the Shanghai Gold Exchange in March and has been building deep ties with China's gold market ever since.
He's got the Hess truck going off in the back, this fucking guy. Yeah, you seem super reliable, guy. And then I looked up this just real quick. There's no confirmed sources of any kind that JP Morgan did that. But then that's my problem. I'm like, I don't fully believe that answer because I haven't seen enough stuff yet. Are there people out there, just out there, talking about this and they have credible stuff that the AI doesn't necessarily know yet? So he didn't do a good job of swaying me that way. The main question is, what evidence do you have that they did that? Because people are just saying that, and I don't know if that's the case. It doesn't seem to be. Yet, hearing that, if someone can confirm the story. We just saw what Ripple did in Singapore. They're now valid. Guys, join our group, the Minutemen, over on Patreon, linked in the description below. Exclusive videos there, weekly. Dude, got so many crazy ones. So many crazy theories. Michael Saylor, PVD. Endless support over there for daily videos. And that's it. Appreciate you. I will see you in the next one.